Coming up in this episode of Hell Dominance, we have Greg Marzhew and Chris Randall swapping clubs, Kruise Leeming using England Snub for motivation, and Castleford Tigers join the elite. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. I am your host Anthony, so please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming in the near future. So we begin with the news that Castleford Tigers have been granted the highest possible academy license from the RFL, less than 18 months after being left off the game's elite list for academies. The Tigers were a shock omission from the Elite Academy licensing list in May 2021. With almost every other Super League club at the time granted a license. They were ultimately granted a probationary license following discussions with the RFL, but has now been upgraded to a permanent Elite license which will run until the end of 2027. Castleford feel that they were deserving of recognition for the amount they have invested into its academy and junior pathways programs, according to the club's head of youth development, Rob Nicolay. Everyone at the Tigers is absolutely delighted with this news. It's some of the biggest news that the club has had for a while. The club needs to be recognised for the investments into the academy. The changes that have been made meant we had some tough decisions, leading to some sleepless nights, some worries, and a hell of a lot of hard work that has gone into it, on and off the field. I have to say, a lot of this has been a year of transition, putting into the foundations to be reassessed by the RFL. It was a 2-day visit to unpick and see where the academy is at now, as opposed to when we didn't receive the license, said Nicolay. There have been a whole host of different areas and criteria we have had to meet. Some we didn't reach when we did not get the license and fell afoul of or short of. When we came in, it was a case of reinvesting with the club, showing belief in the staff that it's a put in place, which I'm massively grateful for. And we've been able to take steps forward. Now, to be recognised by the RFL for the direction we have gone in is fantastic. The Tigers have produced a number of players in recent years that are now part of the club's first team, and Nicolay believes that the steady stream of development can now continue with their status as an elite academy assured for the next 5 years. For example, like Jason Carey seen here. He said, Rob Nicolay that is, for the community of Castleford is absolutely huge. The richness of talent that we have in the area, the number of clubs, it is really imperative that there is an elite academy here. We talk about community clubs, but it's the schools as well. It's massive news. We need to look at how we meet our players' needs, but our players are not just the young men or women in our teams. It's a lot wider than that. How we meet the needs of the players from schools or the community game, and how we invest in bringing that talent through to foster it here is I mean by also included in that. Therefore, the whole community plays its part. That was something I've been really passionate about when it came in, getting into the grassroots clubs, finding out what they need from us, and what we can do better. That's a weight off Castleford's back for when IMG comes in, as they're looking to be a Class A licensed club, and that's one of the stumbling blocks that I'm sure IMG will be looking for. So, Castleford Tigers are all elite, but there's also CM to Castleford confirmed. Who wrote this? Please tell me. Who wrote this? Next we come to Kruise Leeming, who reflected on a devastating World Cup snub by shedding a tear and making a vow to become the best rugby league hooker in Super League for 2023. The Leeds captain had hoped to make the 24-man England squad after a fine season, which saw him help the club reach a Super League grand final. Yet Wayne opted for Catalan Dragons veteran Mickey McAlorum and Salford's Andy Ackers as his two hookers, with England disappointingly dumped out at the semi-final stage by Samoa. When the England boss phoned Leeming with the bad news, it hit the former Huddersfield man hard. But he was determined to ensure that he was picked for the next England squad. And Leeming told Leeds Alive during an interview, "John Wayne rang me and said it was one of the toughest calls he had to make. It broke my heart because I generally thought I'd done enough to get into the World Cup squad. It was almost like when you're speaking to a referee. Once they've made their mind up, there is nothing you can do. But I've lost no respect for Sean because he went for the team that he believed was the best at the time. Coaches are human beings too, and up until the semi-final, England were doing really well. There was no talk about this squad selection until that defeat to Samoa." Leeming had starred in the early stages of Rowan Smith's mid-season revival at Headingley, but then missed several games due to a stress fracture in his foot. I'll say that properly next time. By the time he returned, Brad Dwyer and Jared O'Connor had both hit form, resulting in Leeming playing predominantly from the bench in shorter spells. Having the foot injury and coming off the bench at the back end of the year didn't help, but I thought in the grand final I showed up that I can play on the big stage, added Leeming. Never really not played well on the big stage. I feel I'm better on the bigger games, and I believe I've done enough to get in. If you asked 10 people if I should be in the England's World Cup squad, then 6 or 7 might have said yes, and 3 or 4 might have said no, but it has given me a lot of fire and I will not mope around. This season, I'm determined to ensure that 10 out of 10 people would have me in the England team. That's the best way of looking at it, and hopefully the next time Sean announces an England squad, I'll be in it. I'll still believe there are various aspects of my game which I can get better, and which coaches such as Sean and Rowan want me to work on. Leeming admitted that he couldn't bring himself to watch the tournament unfold. He would record the games and then deleted them. He said, "I struggled to watch any of the World Cup," admitted the 27-year-old. "I was recording games, getting home and then deleting them, which broke my heart. Only game I actually watched was the semi-final between England and Samoa. But you've just got to keep looking forward, and the World Cup in France is now less than 3 years away. You learn a lot of yourself in times of adversity, and even if I made the World Cup squad, I wouldn't have felt I'd have made it. Like I say, I'm not the finished article, and I'm still climbing a mountain, but I still have the desire to be a great player for Leeds Rhinos and England. I don't feel I've reached that level yet, but that's where I want to get to. I'm still listening to as many people as possible behind the scenes, John Wayne included, and trying to be the best version of myself that I can be. I'm determined to leave no stone unturned, and whatever level I get to won't be through the lack of trying." And finally, in the last day, Gold Coast Titans and Newcastle Knights have reached an agreement which see them trade players, with a winger going to the Newcastle, while a hooker goes to Gold Coast Titans in what has been a busy summer for Titans and the West for new players. Gold Coast Titans have secured the signing of Randall as they look to improve their spine going forward, while Greg Marzhew has swapped the Gold Coast for Newcastle, in a trade going the other way. The Titans see 26-year-old hooker Randall as an important piece in the club's roster composition. Titans coach Justin Holbrook says Randall has shown he can be a valuable addition to the team. Chris is a hard worker who has shown what he can do when he's given the opportunity at NRL level, Holbrook said. Alongside Sam Verrills, Chris adds plenty of depth to our hooking position and also frees up other players to focus on other roles. He joins in the same sort of trade when the Knights traded prop David Clemmer to the Tigers in another swap deal for halfback Jackson Hastings, with a year remaining on both deals. Randall comes off contract in 2023 and has scored 3 tries in 29 games for the Knights since his debut in 2020. 25-year-old winger Marzhew is also off contract at the end of next season and has scored 15 tries in 25 games for the Titans since debuting in 2021. In an interesting swap deal due to the fact that Randall played 17 games for the Knights last season due to long-term injuries to first-string hooker Jaden Briley, and the club lacks depth at dummy half as well, with Kurt Mann, who would loom as the only backup hooker option if Randall was to depart, and now has done. While the Knights look pretty stuck in the outside back position, with incumbent wingers Dom Young and Inari Tuala both signing deals until the end of 2023 also, while Himmel Hunt and Dane Gagai can also cover on the wing. But Gagai is more of a centre, so bringing this man in could prove good cover for the wing pair that are there. Unlike Randall, who's on the 2-year deal, Marzhew has only joined the Knights on a 1-year deal. On departing Gold Coast, Marzhew's head coach Justin Holbrook said, "I want to thank Greg for his time at the Titans. We were able to give Greg his NRL debut here on the coast, and he's gone on to play 25 games for the club. The move gives both players a chance to play more NRL games, and it's exciting for both Greg and Chris heading into 2023. I wish Greg and his family well as they take up this opportunity with the Knights." The move for Marzhew seems to be a replacement from their intended target, that of Wigan Warriors winger fullback Bevan French, who was reportedly chased by Newcastle throughout last year and all the way up into when he signed a new contract to stay at Wigan. But now they have turned to the Gold Coast winger, and they hope that he could be a diamond for the club as they move into trying to get into the playoffs this time around in 2023's 17-team NRL season. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking on that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming your way in the near future. Tell me what your thoughts are on today's episode in the comment section below, as it's open for business, but please be respectful and also be there for people who are asking for help, talk, or want to talk about things outside of rugby league. We're all encompassing and we want to bring more into the rugby league family. We know we're inclusive, so let's include everyone, no matter how weird they are, shall we say that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. I'll wish you all the best, so please stay very safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.